Hi guys, good morning. I'm just going to give you a little disclaimer about this video. It's supposed to be about planning, but I think that you all know that our efforts to plan right now are kind of hilarious because none of us really know what's going to happen going into this new school year. I'm literally waiting to find out on about my position, and I'm waiting to find out whether I have to go from room to room, which will completely change the way that I teach. And I'm waiting to find out if we're going to be in person or not, because it's still, I think that we're going to be there with half of our students, but there is a possibility still that at this weekend's board meeting, we may end up finding out something different. There may be a different ruling that comes out of that. I really have no idea what to expect. So literally I'm laughing as I'm editing my video because I sat down to watch different portions of it and realized that I didn't even get to talking about what I was planning to talk about because we can't plan. None of us can plan right now. So all of us just need to stick together and support each other and be positive, and we will get through this. But I'm sitting here this morning, I'm eating my breakfast of some raspberries and cheese because I am back on my keto diet. I sort of went off of it for a few days because I had a little bit of a scare. I thought that I might have had, I had some respiratory things going on, and I thought I might have, picked up the coronavirus somewhere. Maybe I wasn't worried about it for myself. I'm more worried about it for the fact that my husband is in the high risk category. So we went to Virginia, as you know, to help our daughter move. And I know that I had a lot more contact with people that I normally have not been, having contact. We've been staying home most of the time, ordering food in if we get anything, really being very careful because of his high risk category. And I'm not afraid because I feel like if I were to get it, that I would get over it fine, but I don't want to be stupid either. So anyway, I started having like some just coughing and sniffling and stuff. And then I didn't feel good last Saturday. I felt bad. And I just laid in bed all day on Sunday and just really rested a lot the rest of the week this week, and I didn't go anywhere just to make sure, but I never had a fever. And I actually, messaged my doctor, and she said, if you don't have a fever, then we're not going to test you. Don't worry about it. It's fine. But she's like, if you get worse and you start, having a lot more symptoms, you have a fever, then we'll test you. And this is like a big deal right now because we were like 13 days out from the wedding when I found out that I had symptoms. So yeah, this video is going to be about all the crazy things going on right now. And then if you watch at the end of the video, or if you're not interested in my vlog, then you can just fast forward to the end and it will link you to my next video, which is actually about the way that I'm planning and tips for planning going into this next school year. I'm going to try to make the best of the situation and really focus on how do we plan for virtual lessons, because as our superintendent wisely stated, you can teach a virtual lesson in person, but you can't teach an in-person lesson virtually. So that's the stance that I'm going to take. And with that in mind, I'm going to give you some tips of things that I learned the hard way last spring and the things that I'm planning on doing to make my life a little easier going into the fall if I'm still teaching what I think I'm teaching. So that's my disclaimer about this video. I hope you enjoy it. I know I've had a lot of people ask for the vlog anyway, so hopefully you don't mind that I have done an entire video about all of the craziness. But I know that you all are in the same situation as me, so hopefully you're gonna give me grace for that. All right now. So I have to tell all of you teachers that, my heart goes out to all of you. Obviously, we are all in this together. We are all facing a lot of scrutiny, a lot of differing opinions from, different interest groups, different political parties, different, parent organizations, or just individuals that either believe that we should go back, believe that we shouldn't go back. There's just so many, there's a lot of just disagreement right now. There's a lot of disagreement in general out there. And so I just needed to take a minute today and just be like, to get on here and talk to all of you and let you know how much I appreciate you. I have a tiny community of followers right now, and I really am so happy for all of you that have already joined me in the beginning of this journey. I plan on doing this for a long time, so hopefully this will grow steadily, slowly, steadily over time. But to those of you who are already here, thank you so much, and thank you for every time that you share out my information with other people so that I can get more people involved in just supporting each other as teachers. I think it is so important for us, especially right now during COVID-19, for our teachers to be there for other teachers and offer resources and ideas and just plain like emotional support, because who doesn't need some emotional support right now? So that's what's going on with that. My family of like 24 people is about to like converge here, and we have a little tiny house, but we have been moving our furniture around. I will show you some pictures and video of that fiasco, because our doors in this house are not really that wide. And so trying to get our furniture moved around so that we could have enough sitting areas around the house in different places for all these guests that we're gonna be having during the day has been amusing, to say the least.
Despicable me.
Hi guys, welcome back. I am so sorry that it's been so long since I have posted any videos. I had planned to post a part 2 to my tips for planning for remote learning. But let me just say that so much has been going on. But today I just decided that it was time for me to post because I got this in the mail. Da, da, da. Let me read it to you and you will see why I had to share this with you today. The Board of Trustees, President, and faculty of Liberty University are pleased to announce that Charlotte Ann Ludolph is eligible to graduate with the degree of Educational Specialist and a major in Educational Leadership. The conferral ceremony is to be held at 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturday, the 9th of May, 2020. So I was waiting for my invitations for my graduation ceremony, and they were delayed, which I figured, hey, I understand because the graduation has been delayed till September the 11th, at least for now. And I get these in the mail today and I'm like, oh yay, my graduation's actually happening for real, because I was kind of wondering, are they gonna push it back again, right? Well, my graduation invitations still say the wrong date. So I'm gonna have to call them and get that fixed so that I can send out corrections. Either that or I'm gonna have to like insert a little sleeve like the new date is, but I think that's kind of tacky. So personally, I want them to fix it. Anyway, that just goes to show you the craziness of everything that's going on right now in the world with the coronavirus and all the changes that we've had to make. I was on a 3-hour Zoom call yesterday and today to discuss with my district options for reopening. Our governor finally got on and made the announcement in this last week that we were allowed to open under Plan B or Plan C, which means that no one's allowed to come back 100% for normal instruction, but we are allowed to come back at 50% of the building capacity. Not 50% of our students, but 50% of our building capacity. So what that means is that if you, the way that the fire marshals figure it out is that they look at the square footage of your classroom and they tell you based on the square footage and 20 square feet per student, you're allowed to have this many students in your classroom on a regular basis to not break the fire codes, just for safety, like if they had to exit quickly or whatever. But in this particular case, you have to have 40 square feet for each student, which is the 50% capacity rule. So our district is in a unique position because we're small. We cover a large geographical area, but it's a rural district. So that means not that many students for our entire campus. And all of our buildings are close together. We have pre-K all the way up through what we call grade 13, which if you know anything about the early college system, grade 13 is, you know, after your 12th grade year, you can continue on and just take more college courses so that you will not have to pay for those because they're paid for, you know, by this early college deal that we have. So anyway, everybody is on the same campus, all 3 buildings together. So because of that, we have a lot more options than other districts. Now, we have been watching the news over the past like few weeks, and one by one, many of the districts around us have gone to Plan C, which is what they consider to be fully remote instruction. So they're starting the school year August 17th, and well, that doesn't apply to the early college, but everybody else that's not under like an exemption for early start, they're starting August the 17th, and everybody is going to be at home learning virtually, okay? But they're going to revisit it like if the governor relaxes the restrictions. So I thought, well, maybe we're going to go to that. But because of our numbers, we can actually have our entire student body if we spread kids out enough in our campus. So these calls over the last couple of days, we've just been going over our different options. They've been explaining to us how all of that worked, and really hearing the teachers. And I have to say, I'm so appreciative of my district because they really make the teachers' voices heard and parents' voices heard. Everybody that was involved really had an opportunity, ample opportunity to talk about any concerns that they had. As I told you before, my husband is a diabetic and a heart patient, and so these issues are, you know, very critical to our family, that however we're making this work, if we're going back in the buildings under Plan B with half of our, you know, students basically, then we're going to be making sure that every protection is taken care of to make sure that he's healthy, that I'm not bringing anything home to him, etc., etc. And mainly I have been kind of waiting. I did tell you that I interviewed for a different position. It was in the same district. I'm not leaving my district, just in case any of my parents or families are listening. I'm not going anywhere. I love where I'm at. But I did interview for an assistant principal role, and I'm being transparent with you because most likely I probably did not get the job because it's my first time doing anything like this. So many of my friends who moved from the teaching role into an assistant principal role told me to expect that you would probably get turned down multiple times before it was your time. So if it's not my time, it's totally fine. If it is my time, then it would be, but I don't know yet. So I have kind of been waiting around. All that being said, all of these crazy things that are going on, I have not heard back about my job, and that's fine. I love the job that I did last year, and I expect to have to work for my position as far as I just don't have the experience. So I can't expect to go in there and just get a job the first time that I apply for one. And I even learned some things from that interview. Just, I knew that I would learn something because I've never been in that level of an interview before. So it was a good experience for me. They will probably get back to me next week. I think that all of this has really been trying to figure out how they were going to get kids back to school has been the focus, and that's first, and then trying to, you know, put everybody in their positions is secondary because they didn't even know what the positions were going to look like. They have to potentially move people around to different classrooms. They potentially might have to put some teachers on a cart going from room to room. There are a lot of different scenarios involved. So I can imagine that from that perspective, trying to worry about, you know, offering positions right now is like the last thing on their mind. But anyway, I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and then, you know, this came today. So I was just like, yeah, I gotta get on there and share that with them, because this is just one example of the craziness that we are all facing right now. I just needed to take a minute today and just be like, get down here and talk to all of you and let you know how much I appreciate you. I think it is so important for us, especially right now during COVID-19, for our teachers to be there for other teachers and offer resources and ideas and just plain like emotional support, because who doesn't need some emotional support right now? I know that I do. So, all right, so to catch you up on my family activities, you know that my daughter is getting married on August the 1st. So we have just a little bit of time left. I do not have a lot of responsibilities because she has gifted me with doing all of the planning with her maid of honor, and then she hired a day of wedding coordinator, which I really enjoy event planning, but when it comes to something where my own family is going to be coming and spending time in my house from out of town, like that's an event in a production all in itself. So I really appreciate the fact that she took that off of my shoulders. And there have been some things that I've been like, oh, I wish that I was involved in that. But then I was like, oh, but then that means that I would be doing this on the day of the wedding. So I'm kind of glad that I didn't have to do that. With my last daughter, when she got married a couple of years ago, we ended up going through kind of a fiasco with the wedding venue. It was double booked, and they said that we were the ones that had to find another place. So that happened like the week before the wedding. Literally, thank goodness at the time I was not working full time. And so it just worked out that I had all my days free, that I could just like call and scour different places and try to find a new venue, and we figured it out and it worked out. But I was pretty stressed. So, you know, I'm not having to deal with that kind of stuff this time around. And the other wedding, it turned out great. You know, we pulled it off. It was fine. I was totally exhausted afterwards. So this time, hopefully I'm going to have something like mentally and physically left afterwards. So I thank my daughter for that. Anyway, the wedding has been interesting in and of itself because of COVID-19. We cannot have a reception. There's no way to social distance at the reception. They will not allow gatherings right now of, I think it's more than 25. We were waiting to see if we were gonna go into phase 3, which would be, I think, gatherings of 50, which would mean we might be able to do something like, I don't know, work out like 2 halves or something. But my daughter and her fiance are not like, they're social people, but they're like social in small groups kind of people. And large groups of people, it's kind of a lot for both of them, and it would definitely be draining. And for them to have to go through like, you know, 3 different receptions back to back or something just to try to accommodate all of our guests, what's the point? It's supposed to be their day. So, you know, it was a little bit like disappointing that we couldn't celebrate in that way as a family, but they're happy. So as long as they're happy with it, I'm happy with it. It just was like a mental adjustment. So COVID-19 has kind of like messed up our plans for that, but they are going on a fabulous vacation for their honeymoon. So I'm really excited for them. They're gonna go to St. Thomas, and I can't wait to get their pictures back. They already have a GoPro and they've been taking pictures and kind of like planning out what they're gonna do. I guess they're gonna have a photo shoot when they're out there. My daughter's a photographer and she's a really good one. And she's gonna actually get to be the subject of the photographs this time. So she's looking forward to that. So that's been going on. Oh, since I last talked to you, I passed my SLLA, which is the school leadership licensure assessment. So I have everything that I need to apply to add that to my license, I believe. The only caveat is that I got my program done in Virginia, and my license is in North Carolina, and they are reciprocal states. But in North Carolina, in order to receive your licensure endorsement, you have to complete the program for your university, and the university has to send something signing off on the fact that you did everything. Well, I did everything for my degree, but as far as getting a license, they require an internship. My internship was supposed to be this summer during COVID-19 when they canceled all of the summer reading camps. So that means that I didn't get to complete it. So I have to do like a couple hundred hours of, you know, I think it's like 225 hours plus the hours that I already served or something like that, because I did field experiences throughout my degree that I did complete. I got all of that done. But I have to complete an unpaid internship, and it has to be during hours when the students are in school. So I don't know how I'm going to do this unless it's just not going to happen until next spring. So that's kind of up in the air right now. Another caveat of COVID-19. Thank you very much. But it will all work out however it's supposed to work out. I knew that when I decided not to worry about about pressing the internship over the summer and trying to find some weird way of doing it, that it was the right thing to do at the time. I just needed to slow down. I needed to focus on myself and what was going on with my own students and what I needed to do to get ready for next year. I've been working on the curriculum that I was talking to you about, and this video is part 2 in my 2-part series about getting ready for remote learning. So now I have kind of a different angle than I was going to take before, since there's been so much time passed in between. So now that you are caught up on all of my work life, family life balance information, and I got that out of my system, please stick around for the video that's linked next. It's all about my 10 best pieces of advice from what I learned last spring that I'm going to apply to our hybrid school year starting out soon. This should be helpful to you whether you're a virtual teacher this next school year or whether you're a hybrid teacher. I don't think many of us are going back in person fully, but we don't really need a lot of training for that because we already know how to do it. But if you are teaching as a virtual teacher, you can take that lesson and you can easily bring it into the classroom in a hybrid model, but you can't take a classroom lesson and just as easily take it to virtual. So that's the approach that I'm using as I plan. Please stick around and watch my next video. Thanks so much.
Let's take it with me.